And tonight is going to be here in a few moments, they're going to start the first heats of the Demolition Derby.
It's going to get loud.
It's going to get loud and lots of crashing and crunching and things like that.
We got Mayor Claycomb here from the Brandenburg City, and we got Eris Andrews from the Young Republicans for Meade County. And I actually stole Mayor Claycomb. I grabbed him and said, "Come on over here, get on the show."
He drug me down, Mark.
He did.
I did. But there's something to you. There's a lot of stuff
I'm
to
glad
talk
you came
about.
by.
Yeah.
I'm glad you're here.
Yeah.
Well, we're trying to get as many people on as possible. Just give them, talk about what the Meade County Fair is to them personally, and and for you, what's it mean to the city of Brandenburg? So,
well, there are a lot of things that the city of Brandenburg likes to brag about, and we don't deserve credit. We can't get to brag much about what we do for the fair, but it is fantastic to have the Meade County Fair and to have the fair board that works as hard as they do, and hundreds of volunteers. It's just an integral part of our community.
It is. I mean, I grew up here, and Meade County Fair was part of our. It was part of our year. It was the culmination of our year, basically, between school. Between grades. I mean, it's like we couldn't wait for the fair. The only thing about the fair is it meant school was right around the corner.
Right.
But it used to come back in my day. It was almost halfway between.
Right.
Now it's now it's like 2 weeks before before school starts.
And we are so spoiled by the Meade County Fair and the fair board that works so hard, because I've been to other counties like a lot of folks have, and I'm not knocking what they have, but the bar is really high for folks who want to try to compete with what we have here.
Well, they say the state fair takes a look at our fair just to kind of make sure they got their ducks in a row when it comes to operations and everything else. So, I think we were talking with Dave earlier, and the well-oiled machine of moving all those equipment and then getting the field all cut right every time over and over again is amazing. So
it is, and David does a phenomenal job in the fair board, and as I say, it takes lots and lots of people.
Well, we get 40,000 in about every year for this fair, and that's great for the community of Brandenburg and for Meade County and all that stuff. So I got a question for you. There's a lot of stuff getting ready in Brandenburg for a lot of large audiences, too. And I think some things are coming to completion, aren't they?
The sidewalk project is complete.
That's awesome.
Except for maybe just a little finishing up. It's complete.
That's going down to the river, right? It's down on Main Street?
Yes.
Yep. Okay.
That is a shortest section of state highway in the system. Don't know if that's statewide, but we're going to wrap that up with the state. Is going to come in and put a blacktop job on that.
Nice.
Something we can all be proud of, that's smooth.
Yeah.
And then we're going to take title to the property, that's what they want, is they'd like to have that 0.2 of a mile off their books and onto ours. And what a better way to end the sidewalk project than saying now we have a first-class blacktop job.
Nice.
Nice.
So I saw them today. I was down that area because I went to walk. Well, I rode Buttermilk Falls. My kids ran for church school. And but they were putting up the railings today.
Yes.
And that was like a big job because those weren't in little sections. It was one big section they were hanging.
That's the railing for the, I'll say the left side of going downtown.
Where the businesses are.
Right.
Business front.
And so
look good, too.
It really looks good. It's been a frustrating project at times because we've watched COVID, supply chain issues just escalate the cost beyond relief. But we have $955,000 of taxpayers' money in that project, and all but $235 is federal tax dollars. Mm-hmm. And so,
awesome. I mean, that's
we look
helps
at
the
it,
local side.
We look at it through the lens. If you don't let it take your breath away or have your heart skip a beat to talk about almost $1 million, we're getting everything we're getting for $235, and I think that's
pretty good.
That's a good return.
Yeah. And that's what those dollars are for. Those federal dollars are for those type of infrastructure projects and help revitalizing small towns.
Right.
You think about infrastructure. You think about bridges and city and freeways.
Right.
But small town America needs that infrastructure too.
Well, we had a saying at the bank, and of course I worked at the Meade County Bank for 30 years, and Mr. Tobin used to say that every now and then the coal car is parked in front of your business. And he said, if you work for me, I need you to get your scoop shovel out and shovel all you can because it won't always be there. Well, his talk of a coal car is what's going on with our local economy.
Sure.
The coal car is here. and we need the shovel because it won't be here forever.
That's right.
Be prepared. Yeah. So be prepared to go.
And we need to set up the infrastructure that lasts for the long time. And a plan to be in place for when it does need to be redone.
Right. And Steve, I talked with you. Excellent relationship with Judge Koch in the county.
Yes.
And as I shared with you,
that's right,
publicly or privately, Judge Koch likes to say a lot of things, but one of them is hoping for the best is not a plan. So
that's not a plan. And if you're bringing that to the table, you need to turn around and come back.
No, you need to come back when you have a plan.
That's right.
And so it's been a remarkable partnership.
Good.
The senior citizens.
We're
getting very close to a soft launch. Judge Koch has done a great job with that. We've worked together, the city and the county, to get that building open back up.
Yep, they're doing lunches now. I saw that in the paper.
They will shortly.
Yeah.
4 days a week, Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, will be the days that the state puts on the program.
That's awesome.
Brings in the meals, provides the programs. Tuesday will still be, quote, the seniors' day, where they can do what they want to do.
Right.
They're bored. Still have their dance on Friday night. But in the meantime, we'll have a building that's open 5 days a week. And what people are really hungry for is not necessarily the food, but other people.
So let me tell you something about that dance night that they got out there.
Okay.
So my wife took my mama out there, or her mama.
Okay.
And they went out there to go dancing. But everybody asked my wife to dance instead of my mama. So and it was the 90-year-old man, too. She wanted to go dance with him, and then she got stood up for another lady there that got in the way. I thought it was quite the story. But
it is.
It was good, but they went out there, and and there's people out there using it every Friday night.
Well, and it's up close and personal for me, as I've explained to Judge Koch, because my mother-in-law, who's passed away, the Senior Citizens Program in E-Town at Wesley Hilltop was an integral part of her life.
That's right.
5 days a week, she was up there.
Doing something.
And even at 90 years old, she lived to be 96. Wow. She said, those old people need my help. And if you went up there, as we did from time to time, we saw people much younger than my mother-in-law, Mama Dot, and they needed her help.
Yeah, I bet you they did.
So we're just excited. We, meaning the city, the county, Judge Koch and I, that we can be part of something that gets that building open back up.
That's awesome.
So just talking back to the fair for a moment.
That's fair.
So that's fair. It's a fair topic.
It's a fair topic.
So, what you've been here quite a while in the area. What do you remember about the fair from over the years? What are some of the things that you've come to enjoy?
Oh, just seeing the people, and then the some of the events now. As I've gotten older, I'm not. I can hang with you till about 9. That's it. So
I'm the same. Don't feel bad.
But anyway, it's just really something to see this many people and to know people who are so wrapped up in it. I know people that the truth is they would have quit their job if they'd been denied their vacation request for Fair Week.
I've heard that. I've heard that from more than one.
But just to see what other counties have and to see what we have, just makes me appreciate it even more. So
and David would be the first one to tell you it's not him. It's the entire crew.
That's right.
It's the community.
Yeah.
This is a community fair. This is. Everybody in the community comes together and volunteers their time, their equipment, their treasure, their money, and to make this thing happen. Yeah. And it's that to me that's the thing that's always touched me. I mean, when I was a kid, it was the rides and and all that. And even when I was a kid, that wasn't real. That wasn't really the truth. The real thing. It was about hanging with my friends and seeing people that you don't normally see outside. First of all, you're already 2 months into, you're about a month and a half or so into summer vacation, so you hadn't seen all your friends that you had from school, and you almost always hook back up at the fair before you go back to school, which is always a cool thing.
That's about true for Eris this last week. She's been out here almost every day too, isn't that about right?
Yeah, I've been here almost every single day.
Have you really?
All right. Yeah, I'll get you up there, Eris. Sorry about that. Yeah, so she's, I know her, she's actually been helping me at my house because she helps watch my littles, but I've seen her every night out here and every day that she's not at our house. So But yeah, I think you're right, Mark.
So you've been working over at Sierra's house, and you've been doing some of the booth work over there, or?
I haven't done any of the booth this round, but I did do a lot of the Sierra's House Fair booth last year. They just haven't needed my help this year, which is great that they're having enough volunteers that they don't need me.
Yeah,
which makes me really happy.
That is good. I mean, because last year you were that's how we met you.
That is how I met you.
Because we were.
It's actually this day last year, your debut.
Yeah.
I told my mother on Monday, I was like, the Republicans have a booth, and my only goal is to be on the podcast by the end of the week. And Debbie overheard me.
She's
She was
famous.
like, I'm going to go talk to Mark.
Yeah.
She's marked that off her bucket list.
She
She's here
is.
with Mark and Steve.
Well, let me tell you, but she's done a lot more. She's been actively involved in politics, which is obviously hard to get involved in at a high school age. And she's helped us with the young Republicans and stuff like that. Just educating. She's really taken that on. For somebody at her age, she's going to be a senior this year, isn't that right?
Yep.
So it's been an interesting road for her, too. So.
Well, and I commend you, and that's really being a young, positive role model, because city and county government, city government in particular,
Absolutely.
we need younger people, and that's all relative. I'll let you define what younger is.
Yeah.
But we need younger people who are willing to say, I'll serve.
That's right.
Just like here. It's service that matters. It's not about just writing a check. That's important too.
Yeah.
But sometimes that's the easy way out. Here's my check.
That's right.
You know,
I will be the first to admit sometimes I've done that just because I don't have time for the work. You know what I
Guilty.
mean?
Guilty.
Yep, guilty. But
yeah, 30% of you got to think probably 30% or more of the people that consume from this are also contributors to this fair, right? I mean,
I'm guilty of that too.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we love the food.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
Speaking of,
look, the
this is my
spirals
favorite,
here.
yeah. Oh,
This is Steve's new favorite. He's had it like every day for the last 3 days,
Okay.
and
Sometimes twice a day.
sometimes twice a day. And if you could get away with it, you could probably do it, more often. But it is but the
Just listen to
food
that
here is
crunch.
phenomenal. It's fair food. It's the atmosphere. It's the camaraderie. It's the things like that. But I'm glad you said that, Mayor, about Harrison and her generation,
Right.
because you need to understand. Young people need to understand that they can take a stand for their principles.
Right.
If they don't feel that their principles are being addressed or being recognized wherever they're at, they need to know that they're allowed to stand up and say, in a civil way, and within the parameters of, and say, hey, I matter, and what I think matters as well. And I think we're getting ready to start up the.
It
what was
sounds
that?
like they're getting there.
Yeah.
'Cause I thought it was going to be the snow cone machine, but it wasn't.
No, they've already ran that several times. That's not the bad sound, folks.
Yeah.
That's the snow cone machine.
Unless I digress, I watched your program here the other evening, and people were talking about. I was out here and got to experience a little of the special needs on Monday.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
What a phenomenal
Phenomenal day.
It's still there's a lot of special days out here, but now as David talked about, I watched your all's interview.
Sure.
If that didn't touch you,
Yeah, that's
I
right.
think you need to go
Nothing-
home and reflect a little about.
Do you have a pulse?
Yeah, that's right. Do you have a
because
pulse?
It is because it does. I mean, it gives us cold chills. I mean, I'm sitting there
Talking
getting them
about
now,
it. Yeah.
and just the fact that you made. What was it, like they said, about 150 special needs people got to experience the fair in an environment that was that was conducive to their to what they're going through, and allowed them to without the lights and the bright
right.
lights and the loud noises that would interrupt that for them. They got to experience the fun and the great and not just that, but also the caregivers. We talked about that because you got to remember there's people who are taking care of these people and helping them get through day to day, and that becomes taxing on people, and it's good for them to experience it as well. And so that day is for not just for the special needs people, but their caregivers as well. It's all free for them, and I'm super happy to be a part of a fair that does that.
That's I think that's just remarkable, and it's a two-way street because it's not only an important day for them and their caregivers, as you've alluded to, Mark, but when you have those kind of encounters, the amount of love that's generated, and you get so much more than what you give. And that's the great part, because
So you can't buy a ticket for that. I mean,
no, you can't put a value on that.
No.
And it's like, every person matters.
That's right.
That's right.
Everybody brings something to the table.
And if you come to Meade County, you'll find that out.
That's right.
Everybody matters. There's no split. We might get that way in some politics from time to time, but everybody is loved on and cared for in this county.
And an integral part of this is the fact that old saying is people don't care how much you know unless they know you care.
That's right.
Yeah.
And until they know how much
true.
you care. That's absolutely right.
I mean, that's a bedrock principle, and so
I say that a lot too.
Yeah.
So what are so Eris, what are some of the things that your generation's doing? What do you see going on that maybe we need to address as a community or as an organization? Is there anything that you can think of off the top? I know it's kind of putting you on the spot, and I don't mean to, but just some things that are going on right now, and that you might see that we need to address or at least acknowledge.
Honestly, I have no idea. The only thing I can think of is I hear constant complaints about the potholes, but there's not much we can do about that as a party.
Well, no, that's not a party thing. But I think as a community, it's important that we understand that I can say this. I avoid going to Dairy Queen right now because of the potholes and going up by Dairy Queen, or I go in a different direction because it's.
And we're working to resolve that.
Yeah, is that a private road over there?
It is a private road.
It is a private road, and we've only been waiting about 11 years for the development plan to come into play and to bring those roads up to spec so we can take them in the system.
So they will eventually come into the city system?
David Pace, you've heard that name.
I've heard it.
David is helping lead the initiative. I'm working with David, and so the businesses there are going to partner with the developer.
Bring the road up to speed.
Bring them up to spec, and then the city of Brandenburg has already voted to take those roads in when that happens, because the reality of it is there's $8.5 million worth of taxable property, not counting inventory and equipment.
Which brings in new building and new business.
From Family Dollar to urgent care is $8.5 million.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's a big number for us.
It is.
And so it's sad that we're in a position where we can't spend money. I don't want to be the first mayor indicted. I'll just be honest.
No, I understand.
That's not something I want to do. But once they bring it up to specs and they're doing a partnership, I think there's a couple businesses that are a little slow to come to the table. But
Texas Roadhouse?
No.
There's not
Chick-fil-A?
The ones that are already out there.
The ones that are out there.
Sorry.
We could use a Chick-fil-A.
Yeah, Chick-fil-A.
But it's going to take about $75,000-$80,000 to bring those roads up to specs, and then we're willing to say we'll run with it from there.
Okay.
So it's just really
it's a similar. We had a similar conversation with the county,
right,
on the same issue, because there's the same problems out in the county where developers have years ago, developers developed these properties and things, and people bought thinking that you don't think about that when you're buying your house. The road's fine today, but you realize, hey, you're on a private road, and
when you don't have a tractor or a grader blade or
that's
have the
right.
resources to pay for rock as expensive as it is. So
that's right. And so you don't think about those things until, well, now what happens? And so now we have a lot of families out there who have that issue, but it's not the county can't do anything about it because you can't take that road into the system without it being up to spec. The ordinance requires it to be to spec. Right. And so, but I can appreciate those things that kind of like trap us a little bit, right?
Right.
And even though we want to do something, can't. And it's
and we have what we have to deal with is a very small scale compared to what Judge Koch and the fiscal court have, but I applaud them for at least trying to put something in motion to give a person a hope that someday their road can be maintained while they pay taxes in the meantime.
Absolutely.
So
remind me, who's on the city council?
On the city council, we have Bruce Fackler, whose wife Connie just sang the national anthem.
Yep, did a lovely
job. We have Bruce Fackler. We have Charlotte Ford, who's on the council. Bill Basham is a member of the council. Then we also have Bradley Johnson, and we have Ginger Coombs, and then we have the newest council person, Mark Spry.
Mark Spry. Is that six?
We have six.
Six on the council.
And for the benefit of this young lady, we think city government is an excellent way to get involved because it is nonpartisan, at least now. So you can come to the table with your values and your beliefs, but you don't have to worry about a partisan primary. Now that, Mark,
Yep.
we talked about that, and Steve,
Yeah.
that might change, but it gives you an opportunity to say,
This is how I feel about my city, and it doesn't matter what my party is. I'm here to do good.
well, I want to do best by my community, but young lady, no one ever needs to apologize for what their values are.
That's right.
They're yours.
That's right.
So let's just say someone my age did want to get involved in city council stuff. How should they go about doing that?
Have to live in the city, have to be there 6 months. You have to be
18,
21, I think.
21 for the
21.
council.
I think. Now, don't.
We're not going to
It
quote
may be,
you.
yeah, I probably
For,
just
this
failed
may
the
not
test.
be true, but we'll get into that answer and
Yeah.
find out later. But
Nobody ever let the facts
All
get in the
right,
way of
here,
a good
let me
story, did
yeah,
it?
no, yeah. But it is called Me Truth for a reason. So hold on. let me
Yeah,
look it up.
well, we do want to teach. I mean,
Yeah,
that's
teach.
why.
Well,
But
when
that's a good start. Okay, but you don't have to be like 40 years old to run
No,
for.
no, and you don't have
You
to
don't
be
have
an
to
old
wait
guy
until
with no
that's
hair.
Right, that's right. That's what I
Yeah.
think your message is that you don't have to wait until you're old to do something
Because
about it.
Unfortunately, we the reason that it's usually us older folks that are getting involved is because we've already got our finances established and things.
Right.
And these jobs don't pay a lot of money.
Well, now, hold tight. It's $250 a month to be on the council. $250.
$250 is that's your pay.
That's it.
That's a hey.
Oh, I
I'm
thought you said you
I'm
had to
paying
pay
your
to be
gas.
on the council. I had to pay to be
Well,
here.
And,
Oh my gosh.
And that's if we meet once a month or have 6 or 8 meetings. It's just like our fiscal court.
Right.
But anyway,
It's considered a part-time, and it's more of a civic duty
It
than it
is.
is. And so that's why you see it that way. It's not like Louisville where you have a mayor. It's
Nice
over,
website, by the way.
But yeah, I mean, I think that's something we've seen over the last couple
Good
of
looking
years.
photo too, I'd say.
Yeah.
I tell you what, that's good for garden time
I
to
tell
keep
you
the pest out. But,
Oh.
Amy Haynes, city clerk. Excuse me,
Yeah.
go around that. I'm sorry.
So, and Mark, I'm encouraged that this young lady wants to get involved because it's her future
That's right.
descendants. They're going to have to pay for everything.
Yeah,
When
that's
I talk,
right.
When I talk about $700,000 in free government or from federal money, her kids, grandkids, great grandkids are going to have to pay for all this.
That's
so.
right. That's right.
Absolutely.
I mean, but that's a good. I mean, but now you get to go and see and use what you're paying for,
Right.
Because it's here. It's not
Yeah.
just off in some
Right.
distant land somewhere, or in some city. And so I really appreciate the fact that you guys are able to work through the grant systems and the legislature to get those funds and get them back here to Brandenburg so we can actually
Right.
Interesting.
develop for the future.
They made a position for a grant writer in the county now.
Right.
So-
and also along that vein, Senator Paul has hired a person who's a grant writer who's going to try to do they're going to try to be a liaison between private funding.
Oh, that's awesome.
Okay,
He's
nice.
brought this person on board, and I don't know a great deal about Senator Paul, but I know that it's not about the optics or the
No.
the-
No,
And
he
that- generally
he's
he's
trying to
not.
stop spending taxpayer money and cut the budget like
But
we
at-
should.
but at
Fiscal
our-
responsibility.
But at our Lincoln Trail meeting, which is handled in a nonpartisan fashion, but yet you have representatives from
Right.
Senator McConnell, all of our representatives, and I thought, that could cut through so much red tape.
Yep.
So that's going to be something. I can't remember the person's name. That's because I'm old.
They call
But-
it CRS. Can't
but-
remember stuff.
Yeah.
Can't remember stuff.
But I thought that was really exciting to see because we will have Judge Koch's grant writer.
Yep.
We will have resources at Lincoln Trail to help navigate the waters.
Yep.
And now Senator Paul is coming out with someone who's going to say, I'll specialize in reaching out to private funding sources. So
Right.
I think that's
Now,
great.
I mean, that could be an avenue for some of these, if it's private funding and such, and maybe there's grants out there for some of these communities that are struggling with their roads and things or infrastructure, where they had this. I mean, because you would think there's got to be some monies out there somewhere that somebody says, hey, we this is something that to help, especially lower income areas where the families can't get together and bring their roads up to the specifications, because it's an expensive thing now. Nobody expected it to get this expensive so quickly after
No.
COVID created a vacuum of dollars that has that we're just not recovered from yet, and
we're not going to go back to where we were. I
No.
wish I could think we were, but it's not going to happen.
It's
No.
going to take a while for the economy to catch back up to where we're not in this big inflation right now. Also, so.
Yeah, I mean, because you got to figure wages at some point. Wages have to increase, and you've got UPS is coming up with a possible strike here within the next couple
now
of
they're
weeks.
in
I think
negotiations.
they're in
I think
negotiations.
they wrapped up the other day. They're just waiting to agree
For
to
the
it.
vote?
Mhm.
Okay.
Well, this doesn't have a thing to do with local city politics, but until we start to incentivize people to work again,
I
and to-
agree.
and to
That's
work,
right.
we've got trouble.
Yep,
Yep.
that's true.
We cannot.
I mean, the first incentive is to get people is to reduce. The first incentive has got to be remove the incentive not to work,
Right.
and then we can deal with. All right. Well, where is everybody working? What do we need to do to say, okay, this business is help this business expand so they can just more other jobs. I think our legislature, and I know this is not really about city, but it does affect a lot of our citizens in all the cities. Is our legislature, I think, has been working really hard for the last 6-7 years on trying to develop a better, more attractive system of taxes and bonds and things for companies to move here. And I think we're seeing that. I mean, Nucor is part of that. The battery plant down in Elizabethtown is part of that. And there's more out there. The thing is, so we've got some incentive. We got some good jobs coming this way.
Right.
We've got to, like you said, we got to remove the incentive not to work, get people into the education streams and things that are going to be for these jobs. Nucor put a big, they invested in the vocational school here to help boost that when they first got here, to help get kids into a career path that helps them, helps the kids, helps Nucor. I mean, that's
Well, and
what you're hoping to do.
And our metal is being tested because a lot of us have heard for years that we need jobs so our young people don't have to leave.
Right.
Now we have those jobs.
That's right.
And so that means we're going to have a little inconvenience. We're going to have some issues that we didn't think, but they're opportunities. And so I don't suffer martyrs or fools very well. And for those people that say, we don't want this, we don't like it, we want it the way it used to be, I mean, no disrespect to their
Values and
position.
beliefs. Yeah, that's right.
Right.
But the
Position.
reality of it is we're going to change.
That's right.
How we change depends on how we shape it and try to guide it.
That's exactly right. We campaigned on that in Troy's campaign. Yeah, we can either keep slapping Band-Aids on stuff to try to keep it the way it is, but the fact is we're moving forward, and if we don't shape that,
Right.
it will not be the county you knew.
No.
And if we get in there and we shape it correctly, it will still have the Meade County that we know, but still have the development and growth that we need.
And in the meantime, we need our scoop shovels out.
That's right.
As Joe Tobin used to say, get those scoop shovels out and get all you can get while the
I like
getting's
that.
good.
I'm going to use that from now on. I'm glad you. I know you told me you just said it's not yours, but you've obviously borrowed it. I think it's a good one to borrow because that's when the car moves, when the coal truck moves on.
Yep.
Yep.
It may not be back for a while.
Right. So I think we're looking at a judge that will have scoop shovels for everybody.
That's right. He is. He's over there. Hold on. I'll get a pan around on him.
Yeah.
Let's see if I can. Oh, yeah. He's over here. I'm putting him on the spot.
You got to
right now.
like robotic cameras.
That's right. Hold on a second. Let me switch it over here. Boom. Keep busting him out. He's
Yeah.
right there. Troy Koch. There's
There
our
he
judge.
is.
Wave at the camera, Troy. Right there. Right there.
You're on.
Point it. There you go. Hey, there you go.
A
I told you. See, we need to put a monitor up, Steve.
Oh yeah.
I think next year we need to have a monitor up so people can see that they're on.
Oh yeah.
And stuff. I think it'll help.
well, our new motto should be a chicken in every pot and a scoop shovel in every willing hand.
That's
So,
right. That's right. That's awesome.
Listen, I hate to leave good company, but
Absolutely.
I have got to
Oh,
roll.
but hey,
Thank you, Mayor.
Mayor.
Well,
It's awesome for you to stop by, and
Thank
it's
you.
always a pleasure to talk to you.
Young lady, and it's really a pleasure to meet you, and I encourage you to
Absolutely.
keep old guys accountable.
Yeah,
And old
that's,
gals.
that's exactly what we need.
Right.
Thanks,
Thanks,
Mayor.
Mayor.
You.
Appreciate
You
it.
just set those on the table. We'll be good.
All
Eris,
right.
I'll
Yeah.
have you slide over one more.
right.
There you
Yeah.
go.
Yeah, go ahead and change headsets. That's
Yeah,
fine.
that'll work.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thanks, Mayor.
That
Keep
was
up the great
Mayor
work.
Brian Claycomb of Brandenburg.
Yes, sir.
And it's always a pleasure. I always say when I'm talking to Mayor Claycomb,
That's
I could
right.
talk on and on and on because he and I can go.
I could.
We could spin the yarn.
I've enjoyed the interactions we've had with the podcast since we've been going. And speaking of since we've been going, last year we came out here. We set up for a full week. It was kind of an unveil, and David Pace kind of kicked that off. And we did it in the GOP booth, and then we met our young Eris Andrews.
Andrews.
And sorry, it comes out really fast, and I don't roll my R. But she was working over at Sierra's house, and we were. I mean, one of our. Yeah, she's got her Sierra's house shirt on. And, we were very much, when we started this off, Mark, we talked how much we would like to get the youth involved. Man, did we not find the firecracker ready to light off the 4th of July.
Absolutely. Between her and Clinton Richardson, these different people and different attitudes, but
That's right.
the same desire and passion. And so, Eris, we were really happy to have you working with us, and you were able to work with RPK last year a little bit on some campaigns. And how'd that go for you?
That was a really great experience, and I'm really glad I got to do. I basically every weekend I was in E-Town or here in Meade County, just knocking on doors all day with my mom. God bless that woman for driving me to E-Town and backing in and out of driveways.
That was pre-license, right?
Pre-license. I was not, and even if I did have my license, Mom would not have let me drive because, we're just off Ring Road. I'm knocking on random doors, and a lot of people were really nice. I get all like, "Oh my gosh, I'm so proud." The real Republican people be like, "I'm so proud of you. Come inside and eat dinner with me." I'm like, I can't come inside.
Yeah.
So you've accomplished a lot this year, though. In school, you have several accolades. You were doing this on the side hustle. You were a junior last year. You're going to be a senior this year. Talk about some of the organizations you belong to. I know you're going to talk about Sierra's house, but talk about all. I want everybody to hear the resume.
Oh, you want to hear the whole list?
Yeah, just the whole list.
Are we including clubs inside of this?
Or as
yeah,
much
all
as you
of
can
it.
give us.
All of it.
It's a lot.
Go ahead.
Sierra's house, obviously, is one of my biggest things. The Republican Party, obviously. I love it here.
Yep.
I do a lot with the school. I did a lot of FBLA last year. I was an
Future
officer.
Business Leaders of America.
Yes, sir. That was a lot of fun. Did a lot of conferences with them. I did DECA competitions.
DECA.
I did Talking Hands Club. It's ASL.
Right.
So I've been learning that with a lot of my classmates. Did Drama Club. Did all the productions with them. Did a little bit of Earth Initiative. There we go.
Yeah.
Not as much as I wanted to, but.
And then you had a couple of achievements too. We talked about it at a few of the party meetings. You had won a couple of scholarships.
Yes.
And
So there's something called the Governor Scholar Program.
Right.
And so at the early stages of picking who's going to get submitted, they picked 12 out of all of the applicants. I think there were 20 to 30 applicants this year just from the high school.
Right.
And I was one of the 12 that got chosen to move on to the next stage. I didn't make it into Governor Scholar, but I did get nominated, which
That's
is
awesome.
a big thing.
That
It was
is a
really
big
great.
deal.
So it was 12 from our high school?
12 from our high school, yeah. 10,
Okay.
actually, it's really cool. 10 of the 12 that were nominated this year went to Governor Scholar, which I think is the highest number we've ever had.
Wow.
I was one
Wow.
of the 2 that did not. But
That's all right. But you'll apply again next year, I assume, right?
it's not open to seniors. It's a junior only
Oh,
thing.
okay.
Because you do it, like, I would be there right now.
I
had
would say
had
that
gone.
that's still pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I wear it with a badge and honor. And I mean, it was for the best that I didn't get in because I got to babysit all summer long, which
Nice.
is
Yeah, there
way
you
more
go.
fun than
Yeah.
doing school stuff all
So
summer.
Eris has been helping out the Lake Effect because we have taken on 3 kids, as
The
you
Lake
know.
Effect, I
The
love
Lake
it.
Effect, that's right. And now we've got 3 little lakes again, and so she's been a tremendous help to our family. Thank you very much. I can't say it enough. And
I love those kids more than life itself. I,
I
can't
think
even
they
tell you.
grew like 10 feet this summer.
They did. They got so big.
They did.
It hurts my heart, but I love
I know.
them.
They had cute haircuts today. We got haircuts today.
They did get haircuts today.
I know you can't tell from the greasy-haired Texan, but the sweaty-haired Texan, I should say. But,
Yeah, and you didn't take I told you earlier, you didn't take as much off the top as you did last
no,
time.
I
but-
didn't. I'm not going to. I'm going to let it grow along. I'm going to turn into a hippie so I can, I don't know. I'm breaking the mold. Let me out. But Eris, talk to us about Sierra's house and your involvement with that. We had Nancy on earlier this week, and you guys
Yeah.
are doing some really good stuff. You have 3 residents right now, I think?
I believe so, yes.
Yeah. And so what do you do there?
So I basically do whatever they need whenever they need me. I try to get churches and more students involved. A little while ago, my church, FBC, Brandenburg, we packed like care packages.
Sure.
So we ended up packing like, I think it was 60 something care
Very
packages.
good.
It was just like toothbrush and hair conditioner and like lotion and things
Those
like
thi- those things
little
that-
necessities.
Those
that they
things that
don't-
you almost take for granted.
Things that we take for granted that are a lot harder for people coming out of prison. And for those of you who don't know what Sierra's House is, it's a women's halfway house. So when women get out of prison, they have somewhere to go to try and get back on their feet. It's a great organization. And so
I can find that success.
yeah, it's been amazing. The Sierra's House yard sale is coming up soon.
There
Let
you
me
go.
pull up that date so I can drop it really fast in my
That's
calendar.
a snarky plug for sure.
Yeah.
We're good.
Sierra's House yard sale on August 26th.
Oh, that's right
Most-
around the corner.
Yeah, it's real soon. I've got a bunch of stuff I need to donate that I've been putting off because
Maybe I could do that
Procrastination.
instead of me doing my own yard sale. I'll just bring the
Yeah.
Connex over and y'all just go through it.
Yeah.
I mean, they take all the proceeds and put it to the house. Keeping the lights on, keeping
Very good.
food.
You've also been very active in our GOP meetings and showing up.
I'm sorry, I just saw Liam and Landon.
Are they here?
No,
No,
I just
they're on the
saw.
little
I
TV
saw them
up
on the TV screen up there at the
that's
egg,
awesome.
at the Easter egg hunt.
Yeah.
You're so sweet.
Wow. Well, Eris, I'm glad you got to be on the podcast tonight. I know
Yeah.
we're going to be back again tomorrow. Mark, we got
Yep.
a lot of stuff going on.
Tomorrow night is next to the last night. We'll do 2 segments tomorrow. We'll do one on Saturday.
Yep.
And then it'll be the end of the Meade County Fair. So it's
But
coming.
It's our test run for the Fancy Farm,
Yep,
too. So
Fancy
if you
Farm is
wanna
coming
see
up
live coverage
August 5th.
with, with
It'll be
local coverage.
It'll be local coverage at Fancy Farm. We will be live. They've got us a table at Fancy Farm.
Awesome.
We're expecting to be right back where we were last time.
That's
and
right.
We'll see. Hopefully we can. Hopefully the sound quality will be as good as it was last year. It was hard for us to hear ourselves there because of the.
We're good now. We got the
But
new.
we
yeah.
have. But you can see Steve's got the new microphone on. We're getting those
Test rides good.
So we're testing those today, and we're going to order those up for next week, and so we'll have those for Fancy Farm, and we'll hope to see you guys out there.
Absolutely.
So, so we're going to sign off for today, and thank you all for tuning in with us. Eris, thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Great
Thanks for the mayor,
podcast.
Brian Claycomb, for the time and all the information. It's always great to talk to you guys. And tune in tomorrow, guys. Remember, if you like, subscribe, and share on Facebook or YouTube this week, we will enter you in for a prize of a $50 gift certificate to Red Lobster, donated to us by Miss Nancy Tate, your state representative. So go online and like, share, and subscribe, and we'll get your name entered in, and we'll announce the winner at a later time. So thank you all for tuning in, and we'll